sixth graders, today we're going to be taking a look at 2-7, which is using expressions to describe patterns. For this one, we're going to be using input and output tables. We've seen things kind of like this before. We've been using the t-tables. Our input-output tables are going to be a little bit different, where we're going to be going horizontally here with a couple different columns. So we're going to be having our input and output, so top and bottom. Okay, so instead of looking at vertical ones with our t-tables, these ones are going to be horizontal. When we're taking a look at our input and output tables, they're all going to be related values. So when we're taking a look at our input to our output, we're going to be able to figure out an expression that is going to be working for all of those different input and output spots. So they're all going to be related. But what we need to do is we need to find that rule or find that pattern, and then we're going to take that and turn it into an algebraic expression. Now, remember, our expressions always have to have three things. They always have to have a number, they have to have an operation, and they have to have a variable. For these, you guys will be writing your own algebraic expressions. The last ones I've told you like what you're going to use, if you're going to use X or F, whatever it may be. For these ones, you can choose the variable that you're going to be using. All right, let's get started on some examples here. So the way that these problems are going to be looking, we're going to be starting with a table. We have our input and our output, and there's going to be a couple different categories. So for example, we have 0 and 3. So our input is 1, our output is 3. Input 1, output 4, input 2, output 5. And then we're going to add a little bit more here. We're going to add a 4 and we're going to add an 8. We're going to jump around a little bit. You guys keep in mind, there are quite a few. It's not going to be going in order all the time, so make sure that you're really paying attention to the number that's going to be on top. The first thing that we need to do when we're taking a look at these problems is we need to figure out what's actually happening from our top to our bottom. So from our input to our output, what is going on? Most of these are going to be a one operation problem. There is at least one problem that you have to have two operations. So you might like multiply and then add. But these ones right here are just going to be singular operation. So first thing that you're doing is you're figuring out like what the heck is happening here. Now, when you're taking a look at finding that rule, make sure that you're not looking at just one. Make sure it works for a couple other ones as well. So if I'm looking here, I'm going, oh, hey, we added 3. Do we do the same thing next one? Yep, added 3, added 3. So we know that our rule here is add 3. However, we need to write this in an expression. So we need to have a variable, we need to have an operation, we need to have a number. So for this one, we're going to be writing it as x, which is our variable, you can choose whatever, plus 3. That's our expression. Now that we have our expression, we need to figure out the other spots that are missing here. So here, if we have our 4 plus 3, it's going to be 7. 8 plus 3 is going to be 11. Okay, so on your assignment, 2 different parts, you're going to have to finish filling in the table, and then you're going to be coming up with your algebraic expression, making sure that you have a variable, an operation, and a number in all of these. All right, let's take a look at another one. So we have our input-output table. What if I go 6, and that becomes 18? 7 to 21. Now, they'll always give you at least 2 different ones here, so you know that you can check with at least 2 of them. So here, we're going to take a look what's happening. You can do some thinking, but I'll tell you because you can't answer me in this video right now. We're multiplying by 3. Here, our rule is times 3, so 6 times 3 is 18, 7 times 3 is 21. So we have a couple different ways that we can write that as our expression. Now remember, we have to have those 3 things. So we could write it as 3 times x. Now, commutative property also comes in play. We can write it as x times 3. However, what you're going to be seeing most often is 3x. Because remember, when we have that operation and that number, the variable and the number right after each other, that's going to be our multiplication. So this is going to be your best answer, 3x. However, I would accept those other ones as well. So now we know our expression. Now, even though it doesn't have an operation there, we know that when it's next to each other, that's going to be multiplication. So even though we don't have the multiplication sign, it still shows multiplication. Now, what if I tell you that this one's 8 and this one's 9? So if our input is 8, we're going to follow our expression and our rule here. We're going to multiply by 3, and we have 24. And then we have 9 times 3, which is going to be 27. All right. Next one, let's take a look at this one. Evie is starting to get crabby, so we'll go fast. Taking a look at here, let's see, what if I tell you that it's 6 and then 12? Okay, so it's a couple things there. We could be adding 6, we could be times by 2. But take a look at my next number. Now, times by 2, nope, doesn't work. Okay, add 6, yes it does. So here our rule is that we're adding 6. So for our expression, we're going to be writing it as x plus 6. You guys, always important, it's best to start with that variable if we're going to be doing our adding and subtracting, so take a look at that one there. And then, filling out the rest of our chart, we have 10 plus 6 to equal our 16. Okay, I think we're going to do one more here. Let's see. What if I tell you 4 and 1, 8 and 2? For here, remember you guys, we're always going from our top to our bottom. So we're always going to input to output. We need to be thinking like we would read a book here. We're going from top to bottom. What is happening from our top number to our bottom number? What we're doing is we're dividing by 4. So this one would be our x divided by 4 for our variable. You guys, you also might see something like this, x over 4. Same thing, as that's just showing our division. So both of these ones would work just fine. And then we have to fill in our last spot. 12 divided by 4 is going to be 3. Now, like I was saying, most of these ones are just going to be having one operation, but there may be one where you might have to think a little bit harder, okay? There might be 2 different things, like maybe you have to multiply and then add. So taking a look at those ones. On your assignment, they're all going to be taking a look like this, where you're going to be having part of a chart. You're going to have to fill in the rest of the chart, and then come up with your algebraic expression. Now, remember for that expression, I'm going to say it again, it has to have those 3 things. It has to have a variable, it has to have a number, and it has to have an operation. Okay, so we're not just saying divide by 4. Nope, it's x divided by 4. So making sure that you're putting that in as an expression. This sheet is going to be as a doc. So as soon as you guys watch the video, do the worksheet, and then turn in the doc when you're all finished. All right, have a good one.